Yo, I just got some information myself, man, because it was strange to me that every month he's going up for a bail hearing. And I know that seems strange to a lot of people.
Live, a judge has denied bail for Sean Diddy Combs. Of course, this was the hip-hop mogul's latest bid for freedom as he remains in federal jail for his racketeering and trafficking case.
Sean Diddy Combs, a hip-hop icon and former Bad Boy Records founder, faces a major legal battle that could redefine his legacy. Known for his lavish lifestyle and influential career, Diddy was denied bail for the third time. Judge Ron Subban ruled that no amount of money or restrictions could ensure public safety if Diddy were released, highlighting the severity of the allegations against him. This decision underscores the growing challenges he faces as his once glowing reputation becomes increasingly tarnished. The detailed ruling paints a grim future for the music mogul, who now confronts mounting legal troubles and public scrutiny.
So yesterday, Monday, Diddy celebrated his 55th birthday, but this year was a lot different. It was no Diddy parties. It was none of that. None of that stuff. Well, happily, so I guess right now. But anyway, so this is his first birthday behind bars.
This case is quickly becoming one of the most dramatic legal battles in recent memory, with stakes far beyond Sean Diddy Combs' freedom. It's about the survival of his entire empire. His latest bail bid wasn't just a routine request, it was a high-stakes gamble, proposing an unprecedented $50 million bail package. Yes, $50 million. The defense argued that this colossal offer, combined with strict measures like 24/7 private security and a complete ban on internet and phone access, should have addressed any concerns about Combs being a flight risk or a danger to society. Yet the court was unconvinced. Judge Ron Subban delivered a firm ruling explaining in detail why these conditions weren't enough.
No, I'm not surprised by the ruling because, as she cited in her order, there are very serious allegations about the danger that he potentially poses to other witnesses and the public at large. There are allegations that he has, been violent with others. He's also attempted to allegedly intimidate other witnesses and still contact witnesses while incarcerated.
A critical piece of evidence cited by prosecutors and referenced in the judge's ruling is a now infamous 2016 video. The footage, captured in a Los Angeles hotel hallway, shows Sean Diddy Combs in a towel, engaging in behavior described as violent and controlling. In the video, Combs is seen confronting his then-partner, Cassandra Ventura, known as Cassie, reportedly dragging her to the ground, kicking her, and forcibly pulling her back to their hotel room. Prosecutors argue this incident is just one example of a broader, disturbing pattern of aggression and control, further supporting their claims against the hip-hop mogul.
Another push to free Sean Diddy Combs tonight, with his legal team citing new evidence in an updated bail proposal. The music mogul agreeing to around-the-clock security and cutting out contact with basically anyone but his legal team to get out of jail ahead of his trial scheduled for May of next year for charges he allegedly coerced and abused women for years.
Adding to the mounting evidence are text messages exchanged between Sean Diddy Combs and Cassandra Ventura, Cassie, following the 2016 incident. These messages, now part of the court record, reveal a deeply unsettling narrative. In one text, Cassie reportedly describes her injuries, mentioning a swollen face and other harm. "I have a black eye and a swollen lip. You're sick for thinking this is okay," one message reads. Another there reportedly references lingering bruises, with Cassie saying, "I still have crazy bruising." These communications, coupled with the video evidence, create a damning portrayal that's difficult to dismiss, even for those initially inclined to give Combs the benefit of the doubt. However, the 2016 incident is only part of the case against him. Combs also faces allegations of obstruction. Prosecutors claim he has taken extraordinary measures to manipulate witnesses and control the public narrative around his legal troubles. While detained at the Metropolitan Detention Center, Combs allegedly violated facility rules, raising serious concerns. Reports suggest he used other inmates' phone access codes to make unauthorized calls and utilized a private messaging service to communicate with individuals outside the facility, bypassing standard monitoring protocols. Prosecutors allege that some of these communications were aimed at influencing witnesses or even potential jurors, further complicating his already precarious legal situation.
Is everybody familiar with the old Houdini? So what Diddy's lawyers are trying to do is pull a Houdini. They're trying to say that the evidence that they have is different. Well, it's not different. The video that the entire world has seen is not going to go away. The fact that he had parties that were freak-offs is not going away. So it's just a question of whether or not.
Despite the defense's seemingly compelling arguments, Judge Ron Subban remained unconvinced. A major point of contention was the proposed use of private security to monitor Sean Diddy Combs. Prosecutors argued that such an arrangement would essentially allow Combs to create a private jail, undermining the justice system by enabling the wealthy to avoid standard detention. The judge echoed these concerns, emphasizing that the proposed security team would ultimately answer to Combs, not the court. This raised serious doubts about whether such an arrangement could genuinely guarantee compliance with the strict conditions of release, further solidifying the court's decision to deny bail.
That's it. If it is privilege, of course they won't. But if it really is what the prosecution says, that has nothing to do with the case, or even worse, it's actually evidence of witness tampering, because we all know the attorney-client privilege, there's a crime fraud exception. You can't use your lawyer to perpetuate a future or continuing fraud or crime. So if the documents are what the government says they are, they're going to get them again. And again, it's just going to be a matter of days, because I don't expect.
Another key issue in Sean Diddy Combs' case involves his alleged communications with a critical witness. This individual, described as having participated in several of the incidents under investigation, reportedly received multiple calls and messages from Combs, even after testifying before a grand jury. While Combs' legal team has provided explanations for some of these interactions, others remain unexplained, and the deletion of certain messages has only heightened suspicion. Judge Ron Subban concluded that these actions posed a significant risk of witness tampering, a determination that heavily influenced the decision to deny bail. The defense, however, has fiercely contested these allegations. Led by attorneys Mark Agnifilo and Alexander Shapiro, Combs' legal team argues that Despite the defense's seemingly compelling arguments, Judge Ron Subban remained unconvinced. A major point of contention was the proposed use of private security to monitor Sean Diddy Combs. Prosecutors argued that such an arrangement would essentially allow Combs to create a private jail, undermining the justice system by enabling the wealthy to avoid standard detention. The judge echoed these concerns, emphasizing that the proposed security team would ultimately answer to Combs, not the court. This raised serious doubts about whether such an arrangement could genuinely guarantee compliance with the strict conditions of release, further solidifying the court's decision to deny bail.
So that, they probably didn't see these notes, and they never will.
But if you're Diddy, don't you want your notes back?
Yeah.
If you've spent so many hours gathering evidence for your side or strategy or whatever, for me I'd be oh no, please don't destroy, please return.
One of the more unusual elements of the case involves a social media campaign linked to Sean Diddy Combs' recent birthday. Prosecutors argue this campaign, allegedly orchestrated with the help of his family, was aimed at swaying public opinion and influencing potential jurors. The campaign included a video of Combs' children celebrating his birthday and expressing their love for him while he listened in over the phone from jail. While it appeared to be an innocent family moment, prosecutors highlighted alleged statements from Combs suggesting a strategic intent. During a phone call, he reportedly remarked, "I just need one," implying he hoped to influence at least one juror through these emotional displays.
If they did in fact occur, their argument is more than likely going to be that this activity was consensual. consensual, that this person was a willing participant, and not only that, but that these individuals assumed the risk of being present at those parties, of engaging and voluntarily engaging in the sexual conduct of being in those spaces, consuming and things of that nature.
Despite the defense's seemingly compelling arguments, Judge Ron Subban remained unconvinced. A major point of contention was the proposed use of private security to monitor Sean Diddy Combs. Prosecutors argued that such an arrangement would essentially allow Combs to create a private jail, undermining the justice system by enabling the wealthy to avoid standard detention. The judge echoed these concerns, emphasizing that the proposed security team would ultimately answer to Combs, not the court. This raised serious doubts about whether such an arrangement could genuinely guarantee compliance with the strict conditions of release, further solidifying the court's decision to deny bail.
Sounds like there was probably a lot of hidden cameras as well. Is that what is being talked about?
Yes, this was actually in his Atlanta home, the home he had in Atlanta at one point. And it does seem that the person isn't like looking into the video, so it's, to me, doesn't seem like that person knows they're being videotaped. It doesn't seem like they're active participants in the videotaping.
The judge also raised concerns about a separate controversy involving notes seized from Sean Diddy Combs' jail cell during a routine contraband sweep. These notes, reportedly containing troubling statements, included alleged instructions to gather information about 2 individuals connected to the case. The defense claimed the notes were protected by attorney-client privilege and should not have been reviewed by prosecutors. However, the judge highlighted inconsistencies in the defense's assertions, including whether the notes were clearly marked as privileged at the time of the sweep. This discrepancy, along with the content of the notes, further eroded the court's trust in Combs and his legal team.
Witnesses.
So I think that the most important thing, even more important than the passport, is that Mr. Combs came to New York on September 5th. As soon as we realized that this indictment was going to be coming down in a matter of weeks, maybe months, but sometime soon, Mr. Combs got on a plane, left his home in Florida, flew to New York. I called the prosecutors myself. I said, Mr. Combs is in New York. Do you want to know where he is? During the hearing, the defense compared Sean Diddy Combs' case to that of Mike Jeff, an elderly former executive facing similar allegations of misconduct. Jeff, in his 80s, was recently granted bail with a $10 million bond. The defense argued that if Jeff could be released, so should Combs. However, prosecutors countered that the cases were fundamentally different. Unlike Combs, Jeff is not accused of orchestrating a violent criminal enterprise or engaging in obstruction. Additionally, Jeff's advanced age was cited as a mitigating factor, reducing his risk level. The judge agreed with this distinction, reinforcing the decision to deny Combs bail and keep him in custody. So my defense is very well established. I interviewed myself the different men who were being brought sort of into Mr. Combs and this person's intimate situation. I've flown around the country. I've interviewed a large number of them. There's not the slightest inkling, according to the interviews that I've done, of anything that's coercive, non-consensual. With bail denied, Sean Diddy Combs now faces the daunting reality of preparing for his trial from behind bars. His legal team has suggested they may appeal the decision, but the chances of success appear slim. Meanwhile, the allegations against him continue to multiply, with new lawsuits and claims emerging almost weekly. This latest setback marks just one chapter in a story that shows no sign of slowing down. The man once known as the king of the music industry is left to grapple with his new reality: a cramped cell, a mountain of legal troubles, and a legacy teetering on the edge. Let's not sugarcoat it. The situation surrounding Diddy is only getting messier. If you thought the denial of his bail was the biggest headline, think again. There's now the scandal involving his infamous jailhouse notes. These pages, filled with handwritten instructions, scribbles and reminders, were seized from his cell during what was initially described as a routine sweep for contraband. However, as more details emerge, it's clear there was nothing routine about the contents of those notes or the fallout that followed. The implications of these revelations could add another layer of complexity to an already high-stakes case.
Sean Diddy Combs was denied bail for the third time. A federal judge saying that the government had proven by clear and convincing evidence that there were no conditions of release that would ensure the safety of the community.
Here's the tea. During a search of Sean Diddy Combs' cell at the Metropolitan Detention Center, authorities reportedly found a stack of personal notes. At first glance, this might seem like no big deal. Who doesn't jot things down to stay organized? But according to prosecutors, these weren't your typical to-do lists. Instead, the notes allegedly contained instructions that sent shockwaves through the courtroom. Among the most concerning claims was that Combs had written about digging up dirt on his accusers. Yes, you read that correctly, trying to gather damaging information on the very people accusing him of wrongdoing. It doesn't end there. Prosecutors claim one note instructed a family member to find everything about specific individuals tied to the case, while another allegedly referenced paying off witnesses. Combs' legal team has fiercely denied these allegations, calling them baseless and a gross misinterpretation of his private thoughts. However, let's be real. This discovery adds serious fuel to a case already filled with accusations of manipulation, power plays, and questionable tactics. The notes may just be the tipping point in a case that's only getting messier.
The defense denying these claims and is pushing for his release under strict conditions, including a $50 million bond and 24/7 monitoring at a secured Manhattan apartment. There will be a hearing today where both sides will have a chance to clarify exactly how Combs has been connecting with the world outside his jail cell.
You'd think the notes would be a slam dunk for the prosecutors. Clear evidence of tampering and intimidation, written in Diddy's own handwriting. Case closed, right? Not so fast. His defense team has come out swinging, arguing that the notes were protected by attorney-client privilege and should never have been seized in the first place. They've accused the Bureau of Prisons and the prosecution of overstepping their bounds, labeling the seizure as a blatant violation of Diddy's constitutional rights. And here's where it gets even juicier. During an emergency hearing, Diddy's lawyers demanded to know how the search was conducted, why the notes were photographed, and whether this was part of a targeted effort to undermine their client's case. The battle over these notes has only deepened the tension in an already high-stakes legal fight.
So there's a few things going on. First is the privilege issue. The judge will decide whether the documents are privileged or not. If they're not, they're going to go to the government. If the documents are not only not privileged, but they're evidence of witness tampering, then a few things can happen, all of which are bad for Sean Diddy Combs. First, of course, they face obstruction of justice charges in a superseding indictment.
The judge, not wanting to take sides prematurely, ruled that prosecutors must destroy any copies of the notes they had in their possession. But, and this is a big but, the originals would be kept under court supervision while both sides argue over their admissibility. In plain terms, this means the notes are in legal limbo, neither fully off the table nor entirely in play. However, their mere existence has already cast a long shadow over the proceedings. Let's pause and think about the optics here. If you're a juror, or even just a casual observer, how does it look when someone accused of serious crimes is found to have written notes that allegedly include instructions to dig up dirt on their accusers? It doesn't exactly scream innocence, does it? While Diddy's team insists the notes have been wildly misinterpreted, the damage to his public image is undeniable. It's one thing to be accused of wrongdoing, but it's another to be portrayed as someone actively trying to manipulate the system from behind bars. The public perception of his case is already shifting, and the notes are only adding fuel to the fire. And speaking of manipulation, this isn't the first time Diddy's actions from jail have raised eyebrows. Remember that birthday video we mentioned earlier? The one where his family gathered to celebrate him while he listened in over the phone? Prosecutors argue it wasn't just an innocent family moment. Instead, they claim it was part of a carefully orchestrated campaign to influence public opinion, and by extension, potential jurors. According to their filings, Combs monitored the video's engagement metrics and even discussed strategies to maximize its impact. "I just need one," he reportedly said, referring to swaying a single juror in his favor. If true, it's a bold, and some might say risky, move for someone already.
Wait a minute, say that again. Say that again, back up. You're saying that there's tapes and they're being shopped?
Yes, there have been people already shopping.
We've heard about the tapes, but
yes.
The shopping thing is...
Yes, there already have been tapes leaking around Hollywood, being shopped around to individuals in Hollywood. But one particular person contacted me to shop a particular video they were in possession of.
Under intense scrutiny. But let's not forget the players behind the scenes. Diddy's legal team has been working overtime to counter these narratives, painting him as a victim of overreach and media sensationalism. They argue that his actions have been mischaracterized and that as a high-profile figure, he's simply trying to defend himself in the court of public opinion. And honestly, can you blame them? With so much writing on this case, not just his freedom, but his legacy, empire, and family's future. His legal team has their work cut out for them. The pressure is mounting, and they're doing everything they can to protect their client. Even as his lawyers fight to control the narrative, new allegations continue to surface. One of the most explosive claims involves Diddy's alleged use of his wealth and influence to silence those who could testify against him. Prosecutors have pointed to instances where payments were reportedly made to individuals connected to the case, raising questions about whether these transactions were intended to buy loyalty or silence potential witnesses. Diddy's legal team, of course, denies these allegations, insisting that any financial dealings were above board and unrelated to the charges. But in the court of public opinion, where optics often matter more than facts, the damage may already be done. Then there's the question of accomplices. Let's face it, if even half of what's been alleged is true, there's no way Diddy could have acted alone. Prosecutors have hinted at the involvement of a...
I'm buying it all, Kana, and safety can mean a couple different things. Safety just doesn't mean free from harm or violence. Safety can also too means emotional and mental dynamics that could occur by Sean Combs reaching out to potential witness to get them to possibly change.
Network of enablers, people who allegedly helped facilitate the very acts he's accused of. From assistants and bodyguards to high-profile friends who turned a blind eye, the web of complicity, if proven, could be sprawling. This raises an uncomfortable question. How many people knew about what was allegedly happening, and why didn't they step in to stop it? The expanding scope of this case may involve more than just Diddy himself, and that could complicate matters even further. This brings us to the broader scandal surrounding Diddy's infamous gatherings, events that have been the subject of whispers and rumors for years. Known for their over-the-top extravagance and exclusive guest lists, these parties attracted some of the biggest names in entertainment, politics, and business. But as the allegations mount, those once glamorous affairs are being recast in a much darker light. Reports suggest that some attendees may have witnessed troubling behavior but chose to stay silent, either out of loyalty, fear, or self-preservation. Now, according to the lawyer representing over 100 alleged victims, these...
When people got a lot of money and they got lawyers that can come up with different reasons and different information and present it to the courts, that they are able to get how many bail hearings, as long as you got different information to present to the court, different evidence.
Bystanders could face legal consequences of their own. Tony Busby, the attorney leading the charge, has made it clear that he's not just going after Diddy, but anyone who played a role in enabling or covering up his alleged actions. In interviews, Busby has argued that silence in the face of wrongdoing is its own form of complicity. If you were there and you knew what was happening, you're just as responsible, he stated. It's a bold claim, one that sends a clear message to anyone who thought they could distance themselves from the scandal simply by staying quiet. The fallout from Diddy's actions may extend far beyond just him. Let's not forget the celebrities who've been linked to Diddy over the years. Names like Jay-Z, Jennifer Lopez, and Usher have all been mentioned in connection to his legendary parties, though there's no evidence to suggest they were involved in or even aware of any wrongdoing. Still, the mere association has left some scrambling to protect their reputations. Reports suggest that several high-profile figures have been quietly working to scrub their social media accounts, deleting photos and posts that could tie them to Diddy. It's a fascinating and somewhat ironic twist, considering many of these same celebrities once basked in the glow of his influence. But even as some distance themselves, others have come forward to share their experiences. One attendee, a woman invited to a Diddy event,
they know they already won their case. He's gonna have to plead guilty to something. Maybe the guns. It may be the trafficking. It may be some stuff they found in the tax evasion. It may be charges that we don't even know about. But he's gonna have to plead guilty to something which get them off the hook.
By a well-known figure, recently described what she saw as unsettling. According to her account, the atmosphere was chaotic, with people engaging in behavior she described as out of control. While she stopped short of making specific allegations, her testimony adds to the growing chorus of voices painting a less than flattering picture of these gatherings. The more that comes to light, the harder it becomes for those connected to Diddy to distance themselves from the scandal. So where does this leave us? For now, Diddy remains behind bars, his once glamorous world reduced to the confines of a detention facility. His legal team is preparing for what promises to be a long and contentious battle, while prosecutors continue to build their case. As more details emerge, it's clear this story is far from over. The stakes couldn't be higher, not just for Diddy, but for everyone connected to him. In a case like this, the ripple effects are bound to spread far and wide, impacting lives and careers in ways we can't yet predict. And, here's the kicker, with the trial still months away, there's plenty of time for new revelations to come to light. Will more accusers step forward? Will former allies turn against him? And
Diddy is a multi-millionaire. He's a multi-millionaire. If he wins this case against them, look at all the business that he lost. Look what they made him look like in the public eye. He could bankrupt. he could bankrupt the government.
What about those notes? Will they ultimately be admitted as evidence, or will the defense succeed in keeping them out? One thing's for sure, this case has already changed the way the world sees Sean Diddy Combs. The question now is, how much more is there to uncover? Stick around, because this story is just beginning. What do you think? Is Diddy being unfairly targeted, or is there more to these allegations than meets the eye? And how far do you think his influence and wealth will take him in this legal battle? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.